Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of the Stellium Astrology podcast. I'm Stephanie James, your host, and I am the founder of stelliumastrology.com and this podcast. I used to write horoscopes for Elle magazine in the UK, and I'm also an occasional tutor at the London School of Astrology. And today I am in my car again. I was talking to one of my patrons, Julie, and she said that I'm relatable because I'm just keeping it real. Oh my God, the cutest thing ever. Sorry, I get distracted. Maybe that's what makes me relatable. I'm sitting at the local aquadrome, and there are some geese walking towards the lake in front of me with babies. They're little babies. They're so cute. Oh my gosh, I want to get a picture. But I'm recording, so I can't. Anyway, distraction. Julie says I'm relatable because I just keep it real, and I'm in my car recording and stuff like that, which, you know, this is not what I had in mind when I first started doing this podcast, but then I also didn't realise I was going to have a baby. So, you know, I knew big stuff was coming up, but for myself personally, you tend to overlook yourself when you're an astrologer. You don't look at your own transits, you don't look at your own chart, you don't really think about, you know, your own astrology. You're kind of busy looking at everybody else's and looking at what's going on around you. So that was something that I never really factored in. I did know that the chart for the podcast wasn't ideal because it was like I launched the podcast during probably one of the most challenging years in recent history. However, I basically, want to keep the show on the, what did they say? The show must go on, the show must go on, and it's totally true. So yeah, my little boy, I left to go, he's got his swimming lesson today. I wrapped him up in his little warm onesie, his Winnie the Pooh onesie with little ears and everything. He looks like a little bear, and he's just in the car seat having a good old snooze. So I reckon I've got a little bit of time. Now, I wanted to talk, I'm still on the subject of Synastry, and I wanted to talk about a famous couple for you this week. But just before I do, I just want to remind you that if you go on the YouTube channel and you subscribe to the YouTube channel and you send me a screenshot, you can email me, stephanie@stelliumastrology.com, then I will enter you into a prize draw, and anybody who's already subscribed is going to be entered. And obviously if you've got other channels as well, you can subscribe to me on those channels too. I guess that gives you extra entries. Just make sure you email me so that I know, because sometimes when YouTube channels are private, I can't see that you're actually subscribed. I can only see that I've got a person subscribed. It won't tell me who. So just make sure that you do that, so that when it comes to writing your names down and putting them in the hat, I can actually do that. And yeah, you'll get towards the end of the year, I haven't decided on when I'm going to pull the names out of the hat, but you'll get a Magic of Eye astrological almanac planner type thing. I'll get one sent to you wherever you are. So I don't know if you've seen them, but they are absolutely stunning. I was gifted one at the end of 2021, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, if you could do that, that would be wonderful. Also, if you're listening on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, if you could leave me a review, that would be wonderful. If you could rate me on both, that would be fantastic. And if you want to leave me a review on Apple Podcasts, then I will go through and I will have a look at some of my reviews, and just like the process of pulling a name out of a hat, I will select some reviews that I particularly like, and I will mention your name on the podcast. And if you can then contact me, either emailing me or DMing me on Instagram, and I will send you a very brief personal chart interpretation, if you like. So that's my thoughts on paying you guys back for wonderful reviews. The other thing I wanted to say was that this podcast is reaching its 100th episode, and to celebrate that, you can ask me a question, anything at all, absolutely anything, and the 100th show is going to be me being interviewed for the podcast, basically. So I'm going to get somebody to interview me. I'm thinking it's going to be one of my patrons. I will be reaching out to the patrons to see who wants to do it, but I've already had somebody who I reckon would be very good at it already in touch with me. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, so basically I just wanted to let you guys know all of the interesting and exciting upcoming things that are occurring for this podcast. And without further ado, let's get on with the episode. So the people I wanted to talk about this week were Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. Obviously, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West are no longer together, which is unfortunate. I don't know why. It's funny. Maybe this is part of the issue. I feel for Kanye. I don't know why. I feel for Kanye. Not because I think that Kim's a horrible person. I'm not one of those people that's taking sides. But I just really got this sense of and I might be wrong because I don't know the ins and outs of their relationship, but I really got a feeling of genuine love, if not from her perspective, from his definitely. But I don't know why, because I don't normally get sucked into celebrity romances. But for some reason this one sucked me in, and there must be a reason for that, right? So both of them are on astro.com. The excellent thing is Kim is a AA, so we can trust her birth data. The not so excellent thing is that Kanye is a totally unknown birth chart origin. So we don't know what his birth data actually is. And I've cast his chart actually for midnight so let me just change it to midday, because you guys know I like a midday chart. Let's see, let's just have a quick look at midday. So if we look at the midday chart for Kanye, yeah, it puts his moon in Pisces. So it puts it in mid Pisces. So if he was born at midnight, it would be really it would be earlier on in Pisces. So we can 100% say he has a Pisces moon. We can 100% say that, because the moon stays in a sign for approximately 2.5 days out of the month. And at midnight, at the beginning of the day that he was born, the moon was in the early hours. Let me tell you exactly where it was. It was at 11 Pisces. So if we go 24 hours ahead, so at midnight the following day, it would be at 24. So essentially, he definitely has moon in Pisces, which is interesting because so does Kim. And, we know that they've got children together. We know that they were together for quite a long time. Now, this is the other thing. I don't know a lot about them, and I haven't done a great deal of preparation about their charts either. I just thought I would talk about them today just because they are one couple that I really did want to look at, actually, as far as Synastry is concerned. And because we don't have his ascendant, it really is going to be annoying, because I'd love to know what his ascendant sign is in order to accurately read for him. But we can't do that. We just can't do it. But we can have a quick look at midnight and midday and sort of look at the difference. So his sun is at around, at midday, is sort of 17 degrees and 43 minutes of Gemini. Maybe this is where I can empathise with Kanye slightly, because his sun is kind of very close to my ascendant. He also has his moon at midday. It's around 18 Pisces, which sextiles my sun. So his sun's on my ascendant. His moon is sextile on my sun. So I have a kind of, I don't know, there's some kind of synastry there with Kanye myself, actually, which is interesting. Now, he has got also lots of stuff going on in Taurus. So he's got Sun, Jupiter and Gemini. He's got Mercury in Taurus. He's got Mars and Venus. So he's got a stellium. All his personal planets are in Taurus. Chiron's in there as well at 4 degrees. So he's got Mars at 1, Venus at 2, Chiron at 4, and Mercury at 26 degrees of Taurus. So he's got loads and loads in Taurus at the moment. And what do we know about Taurus at the moment? The sign of Taurus? The nodes are currently going through it. So actually the nodes are starting to travel through Taurus. Well, they have been for a little while, which means that all the eclipses that occur, and we, have got eclipse season happening, which, recent eclipses in the Taurus and Scorpio areas of the zodiac, which are very, eclipse season is very full of destiny and full of, a sense of fate, and providing us with opportunities to really follow our true path in life, whether or not it feels like a good thing or a bad thing at the time. And sometimes good events come, and sometimes bad events, if that's how you want to frame these things. It can be really tough and really challenging, but it can also be really rewarding. So that is already happening. That's already occurring in the in the transits for Kanye. He's also got Pluto in Libra at 11 degrees. He's got Uranus in Scorpio at 8 degrees, and he has Neptune in Sagittarius at 14 degrees. So he's got Pluto, Uranus and Neptune all in signs that are kind of next door to each other. Oh, and Saturn in Leo as well. So he's got quite a there's an element of fixity about his chart and mutability. There seems to be a lot of fixity and mutability, and I'm not seeing too much air for him, actually. Not too much air and not too much fire either. But we don't know his ascendant, do we? We don't actually know his ascendant. And Kim has got, she has got her sun in Libra at 28 degrees and Pluto not too far by. And actually she's got Lilith there at 22. So she's got Pluto at 21, Lilith at 22, and the sun at 28. And I do talk about Kim Kardashian in my Lilith course. There's a very interesting Lilith connection to Kim Kardashian, but we're not doing that subject today. She's also got Venus in Virgo, Jupiter in Virgo, so Venus at 19, Jupiter at 28, and oh, look at that, she's got Saturn at 3 Libra, so she's got 1, 2, 3, she's got 3 planets in Libra, plus she's got Lilith and Juno, so actually it looks as though she's got, I wouldn't normally include Lilith and Juno in a stellium, but she does have a stellium in Libra. She's got Mercury and Uranus in conjunction in Scorpio, 19 and 24 degrees. She's got Mars at 6 degrees of Sagittarius, Neptune at 20 Sagittarius. So that's all clustered around one side of the chart. Her nodes are at 16 Aquarius and Leo. So Saturn happens to be hanging around in Aquarius at the moment, as we know by transit. And obviously her nodes, so these are fixed signs as well, which means that the eclipses are going to be, triggering these by square, which is another interesting thing to recognise. Now, she also, like I said, has got her moon in Pisces at 28 degrees. And as her birth time is very accurate, we can say that her moon and her sun are actually quincunx, which means that they are in a type of... it's not completely in tune. It's either on, it's like a light switch. It's either working or it's not. It's either switched on or it's not. So anyway, I'm getting really, really focused in on the chart here. And what you can do, I know with my personal software, but you can actually do it on astro.com as well, is you can do composite charts and you can do bi-wheels and stuff. So I'm looking at their chart in a bi-wheel. One of the things I wanted to look at with them is the fact that, there's obviously an attraction with them. And I think that with Kim and Kanye, you can see that Kanye's Pluto, Kanye's North Node is hanging around, is practically exact on Kim's Pluto. Whenever you find Pluto in the Synastry, there is this kind of temptation that's really hard to ignore. They've got their Neptunes are pretty similar degrees. Their Uranus is both in Scorpio, and they've both got Pluto in Libra. So they're of that generation that they've kind of got that understanding together. Now, Kanye's Saturn also happens to be around Kim's North Node, so they have kind of nodal contact, which when you meet someone with nodal contact, it is hard to ignore that. You do find that you're very attracted. You feel a pull towards somebody like that. He's got his Pluto does seem to be very close to her Saturn. It's not super close, but it is close. So I feel like it's interesting because you can see that there's this Saturn-Pluto connection with them, which is about power and control, actually. And I always say with great power comes great responsibility. In a relationship, that would feel quite, what's the word? It's almost like the devil tarot card, like the chains that kind of bind you, which are chains of your own making, kind of. But nonetheless, it's an interesting, there's a sense of connection which can kind of be a bit till death us do part, in a strange way. Now, what we can see about the things that would have probably been quite nice for them is that, so Kim's got Jupiter at 28 Virgo and she's got Venus at 19, which means that their Venuses are actually in both in earth signs, so they have that connection, that understanding of the earthliness of their Venuses. It's very physical, tangible, reality based, about quality. Virgo's very sensitive and quite a perfectionist. I don't know if you've ever seen her doing house tours on Instagram and stuff, but she has like all the children's toys in like colour coded order. You might say it's a bit OCD, but it's just like that real appreciation for creating a sense of order. And there's also like this sense of wanting to have nice things. Venus, Virgo is a very sensitive sign, so Venus in Virgo is going to value the things that complement rather than aggravate. I'm thinking of with Virgo, like skin conditions. If you wear like the wrong fabrics and eating the wrong food can upset your stomach, and you're really in tune to those sensitivities. So somebody with Venus in Virgo, not just it's going to have those issues, not necessarily, but there is going to be an appreciation for like the details that make a difference. And it is for somebody with Venus in Virgo, it's all about the little things. So her Venus is trine his Mercury, and her Jupiter is trine his Mercury too, which is important because Mercury rules his sun in Gemini. And so that makes that a very nice connection for those two. With the Jupiter and Mercury trine, there is a sense of, the conversation is probably the type of conversation that really fills each of them with hope. And, one of them can talk. It's almost like one of them, I'd say Kanye knows what to say to make Kim feel reassured and to have faith in them both, I guess, in a sense, and in their union. And also, like I said, they've got this kind of, because he's got his personal planets, Mars, Venus, and Mercury all in Taurus, there is that connection. Now, I will say that Mars in Taurus can be known for being quite strong-willed and not really wanting to take no for an answer. That can be, it's almost like Mars in Taurus is so set in their ways, and so it can be overbearing in a sense, like in the sense that Scorpio can be quite overbearing and can be quite controlling emotionally. And you can say, oh, that's like quite emotionally manipulative, or a Scorpio can understand how to manipulate the situation. You could try and manipulate somebody with Mars in Taurus, but I just think it would be impossible, because they just wouldn't do what you want them to do, because they're only going to do what they want, because their desire and their will is so strongly focused into one specific area that they're not likely to bend. This could be what we're seeing with Kim and Kanye with the breakup, and with the fact that he is refusing to kind of drop it, I mean, I said that, I felt for him. I did feel for him at the beginning when they broke up, but now it's almost like borderline harassment, the way he's treating her. Those ducks are walking around still, the babies. Oh my God, it's so cute. Now, just the other thing that I want to point out is the Pisces moon connection. So moon in Pisces is very compassionate, and there is a sense of foreverness about an emotional connection. You know, there's this kind of limitlessness when it comes to opening up to somebody and being truly and wholly yourself. You know, there's something lovely about a Pisces moon. The downside to a Pisces moon is the lack of understanding around boundaries, or the lack of desire to implement them. So it can be very difficult for somebody with a Pisces moon to kind of really get the point of rules, social conduct. I'm not saying that, like, you know, this is the case with every single Pisces moon, but I've met a few Pisces moons who I tried to make it clear that I wasn't interested in them. I'm not basing every single thing I know about Pisces moon on just these situations, but I'm just saying this is an example of where it can be not so great. Two guys of the Pisces moon made advances towards me literally on the same week, and I was not interested, and I tried to be as diplomatic as possible without being rude, because I was brought up not to be rude, and they wouldn't get the hint until I was really blunt about it, and then they were really offended that I was, had to assert a boundary. But it's almost like one guy literally fed me a sob story about his marriage. In fact, I recorded a podcast episode about it, about what happened to me in India. So if you haven't listened to that, you should listen. It's a few episodes back now. I think it came out in the summer of 2021. Which episode number that could be, I am completely not sure right now. But anyway, so the Pisces moon, the way he worked was he fed me a sob story. He told me about how his marriage was just a sham, and it was all for show because they've got kids and blah blah blah, and then talked about how he was hard done by because of this could have happened if he hadn't have made this mistake in his life, and having children was probably one of the worst things he ever did, and tell me this whole thing, and then went in with the kill with hitting on me and stuff. And I'm not saying that every Pisces moon operates like this, but it can be a Pisces trait to go for the angle of sympathy. When you've got a moon conjunction with someone in Synastry, there can be a real understanding of each other, really know where each other's coming from. And there's also this nice thing of emotionally you both need the same things. So you can offer what the other person needs because you both need that. And often in love, you offer the person your moon when you are trying to... have you ever seen it when you're upset and somebody does something to try and cheer you up, but they just piss you off because they do the wrong thing and you don't understand why they're doing it? When you look at their moon placement, it's because that's how they want to be comforted. And so when you've got a moon conjunction with someone, you know how they want to be comforted generally. I'm really generalizing here, but the moon is one of the first things we look at in Synastry as how do we love the other person? How is it that we love? How do we receive love ourselves? And then how then do we apply love to the other person? How do we show them that we love them? We do it emotionally. We do it with our moon. So there's a really nice understanding with Kim and Kanye with this kind of lunar connection. And actually both of them have sun in air signs as well. So they have this real intellectual connection, this kind of people person vibe about their sun. It's a thinking placement for the sun and a relating. All the air signs are relational. But it's not so emotional. So having that nice relational, understanding, intellectual kind of solar placement, and then having this really nice lunar placement, which is very much on an understanding level with each other, it's a really nice connection. However, we do have this sense of victimization that can come through Pisces. And I don't think that we're seeing too much of that with Kanye. I mean, the fact that I've got an opinion on it is interesting. The fact that I felt sorry for Kanye and now I feel sorry for Kim. It's interesting that I've gone between the two. And before I looked at their charts today, I hadn't really bothered to check them before. So the fact that they've both got Pisces moons is funny to me, that I would actually go to this trouble of having feelings about this. Now, the other thing is Kim has got Mars in Sagittarius, and Mars in Sagittarius is really freedom-loving. It's very is also interesting if we think about the fact that, what is it that you know most about a horse? Usually it's like the swishy tail. And she usually has a hair I've seen lots of pictures of her with her hair tied back in like a horsey tail. And also she's known for her derriere, which is usually very, very curvy and juicy. So the fact that, we look at the horse, the rear end of a horse, is kind of very recognisable. With Kim, the sex appeal is behind her in that horsey bum tail area. I know that's a bit literal, but I think sometimes astrology can be. But it's interesting how in a kind of, I'd say that her Mars and his Mars are quincunx as well. So though in Synastry the quincunx can be the blind spot, there can be this challenge between his Mars and her Mars. Her Mars is like, I want to go off and be free and do all of this stuff. And his Mars is very much, I know what I want. I know what I want from my relationships, and I don't want you doing. I'm painting him to be this bad guy. I'm not trying to. But, there's this element, like I said, with like control with them. And, the air signs are very freedom loving as well. Yes, Libra likes to be in a relationship and in a coupling. And so does Gemini. It likes to have that, that conversation. But there has to be freedom within that. And then you've got this kind of Pisces moon, which is very involved emotionally to the point that you can't really separate each other. And then these Marses, where hers is off wanting to go exploring, do all these different things, very entrepreneurial, very fiery, and his is very earthy, very almost like a tent peg in the ground when you go camping. It's really solid and stuck in one place. But they've got that nice synastry between their Venus placements, which is nice and understanding. They've got a lovely, there are some really lovely aspects to their synastry. I'm not going into the transits or anything. I just wanted to look at that. But you can see why I felt a little bit sorry for Kanye and for Kim. And I thought that I would just explore that synastry today, just for a bit of fun, just for a bit of, to inspire you guys to go and have a look yourself, really, more than anything. So I think it's time for the swimming lesson. So I'm going to actually go in now and try and nab myself a good cubicle. And I will wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I probably could have gone on for ages about Kim and Kanye. I don't know anything about them that much. I do know bits and bobs, and you can read it on the astro.com page, or you can read it on the Wikipedia page if you really want to know a bit about them. I'm not looking at them and their histories as individuals. I'm just looking at the way that their charts work together, and why, it looks as though there is a lot more... I don't like using the word stubborn for Taurus, but there is a very immovable and fixed quality about Kanye, which can be difficult to shift, even though he has got some mutability about him. Whereas with Kim, she's got a lot more cardinality and mutability and a bit of fixity. Oh, the other thing I just wanted to say was that both of them have that Neptune conjunction, and she has got Sag rising as well, by the way, to add to that horsey rear-endedness about her. And his Sun and Jupiter are setting in her chart. So actually their moon, the rulers of their moons are in conjunction, hanging around her ascendant as well. So that also adds an extra importance to their moon conjunction. So if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to rate it. I think I've done all the intro-y bits at the beginning anyway, and kind of did all of the blurb. If you wanted to ask me a question, I'm going to do a story, an Ask Me Anything story on Instagram soon. And I'm also I've put a little form which you can go to in the bio description below this podcast episode, which just says ask me anything or make a suggestion. So if you just want to put it there, you can also submit your chart for discussion on this podcast as well through the links below. That's all for today. Thank you for tuning in. I just really wanted to have a look at Kim and Kanye. I think that they make for an interesting pairing, don't they? All right, you guys, take care, and I'll speak to you next time. Bye now.